And we're live, and it's a beautiful Sunday. Welcome to the Sunday Football Review. In today's episode, the whole goal is to give you a little refresher and briefer as you dive into your Sunday football marathon. Maybe give you a little inside edge as you prep your fantasy teams, but then also just keep you in the loop as crazy stuff happens, right? Like, one of the things I couldn't have been more excited to do was display my fantasy team for everyone this year. And speaking of which, because it's such a sharp squad this year, let's show it to the folks. Oh, first, let's delete one of these so we can make space. All right, now let's show it to the folks. All right, so what I couldn't have been more excited for. Even my bench with Xavier Worthy sitting on the bench with 21 points, racking up TDs. Week 1, sitting solid, and then breaking today, we're coming to find out that Tyreek Hill pulls a Scotty Scheffler on his way to the game. He's getting arrested. Here, I think we got a clip here, at least a brief. That's the games for today. But here's Tariq. Wow, we don't need the radio.
Could you imagine if, like, on the radio right now, they're already talking about it?
Yeah.
They have a helicopter overboard, and they're like, oh, my God.
The crazy thing is, this is on the way to the game.
How much do you think the line changed when they saw this? From like a 6.5 to a 3.5.
Yeah.
But see, you know what's cool about like super athletes like this? Like Scotty Scheffler, he's going to show up. You're going to see Tyreek probably show up today. What were you telling me you read? What was the infraction he was pulled over for?
I think it was just like a driving violation.
And they found or managed to get the guy in handcuffs. Like,
yeah, face first on the ground in handcuffs.
There is this
drafted him in fantasy.
Number one pick.
4th overall, Tyreek Hill.
All eggs in that basket. Let's kick this bad boy off. But you know, what is a Sunday football show without some football highlights? I want to ask, this is from college football this past weekend. Is it safe to say, is this potential for being the play of the year? Week one. Look at this catch. Yo. So Robert Morris, Utah, we've got a heck of a game, and this is an interception. It's not even a pass. That is unreal. That's old Odell right there. Odell couldn't do this again.
Man, that's a great catch. He playing the ball better than the receiver.
See, you know, I dive into I agree, Ricky. And how do we get Ricky there? I dive into full head NFL. I just love professional. It's the elite athleticism, but I've grown to appreciate, like all my friends, there's such a culture around college football. And I've grown to appreciate what makes it so special is these are guys that are digging and clawing to make it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the professional level, they've already made it.
They're
like
true amateurs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once you make
not
it
anymore, but
true. But once you make it, like what else is there really to dig for besides records? And again, that's still great to watch, but take it to Sean. Once you get a $300 million bag, it's very easy to sit back and coast. But like these guys still haven't made it. There's something to be said about, like, I bet you this kid has potential. Like there's something.
You saw one catch and you're like, give him 7 figures right now.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Yes.
Maybe he's
But-
great in zone, but can't play man for shit.
Right. I mean,
Hey, Richard Sherman made a hell of a career doing that, though. Like,
well,
he really did.
and again, how many times did Richard Sherman really do that? You know, how many times did Odell really do that? Sometimes you just got to
Once.
have a couple really good ones.
He did it once. I'm still hearing about it.
Yeah.
And this year's another comeback year.
Who's he playing for?
Who cares?
No, seriously. Does anybody know?
Miami.
Yep. So
He is
Tyreek
playing?
went down. Tyreek
Oh,
went
yeah,
down.
Tyreek's
Odell is
down,
up.
and you pick him up.
Wow.
Looks like he's taking Tyreek's place.
Hey, you know what? He ain't a convict. He's still kicking. So fair.
I don't know. I feel like he fleeced us, but that's okay.
Look, whoever that sheriff is
Highway
in
robbery.
Florida,
Fine.
whoever that sheriff is in Miami-Dade County right there, if they don't let out Tyreek for this game, he won't be elected again to be sheriff.
Oh, he's
I'm telling
already
you.
out.
That is true. He, like Doug was saying, he is already out. But Ricky's like,
Do you think they put him in a jumpsuit like Scotty? I don't think it got that far.
they knew better.
They
They knew better. We
The
have a little bit of a
optics might not be
scene.
So good.
What's your social? Ugh. Get back out there, kid.
Oh, wait. Hey, aren't you in my fantasy lineup?
I'm Tariq Hill. Sure, bud. That's what they all say. Run the social. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Pull him
Get
over,
back out there, cat.
Pull him over at the Lamborghini and the butterfly doors. Yeah, sure, pal. You're that guy. Give me a fucking break. Sorry.
But for real though, as a star player going to the stadium, like, don't you have your own route to get to the stadium? Like, even if the cops that's working there see you, a star player, let the man, like, what could be the violation so bad? Like, you took him out of the car.
They're athletes just like us, but
They are human after all.
they are human.
Well, the truth is, it comes back to like the Scotty Scheffler thing. As Ricky's indicating, these guys are just driving themselves. It's just them, like early morning tea time. I just rolled out of bed, hopped in my car.
Not even just that. Both he and Scotty were both arrested within like probably 400 meters of like work.
Right, work.
Yeah,
like,
this was. It said
immediately
it was
straight
like
to
a
jail.
block away from the stadium. Is the one article I read said.
And I'm pretty sure Scotty was pulled over like entering the parking lot.
So here's really what it is. The truth is, if you're like a block away from the stadium, that means they're doing like traffic control game time. Like there's tailgaters, we've got a lot of traffic. And again, you might have a nice car. You might even be like the guest of honor, but nah, you ain't the player.
It's Miami too.
Ex-
It's like a lavish lifestyle.
That's
down
so
there,
funny.
too.
That's true. That's what I
there's
mean.
not,
Like
you know,
the audience member themselves, just a casual fan
I would have
could
been
be.
weirded out if he was like in a Kia. I'd have been like, "Oh, why are you here?"
But again, that's what makes it wild is the dude in the Lambo's like, no. I'm the star of the team. And they didn't believe him to such a degree that he's out of the car
He could
and
point-
in handcuffs.
He could literally point to a banner and be like, "That's
Yeah.
dude."
If there's anybody on that team that has a banner, it's Tyreek Hill just pointing at the stadium. Do you not see the 3-story me?
He might be the
one?
highest player on
What?
their team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I mean, I think it's crazy. It's happened twice in 1 year.
And again, across the spectrum of sports athlete types, like clearly you have a social sentiment that can be said here, right? Like overstepping bounds, over policing, like, hey guy, you're traffic control. Control the traffic.
What could the violation possibly have been? Honestly, the violation was, I need to park there, not over there.
Right.
And he was like, no, not on my watch.
And again, it comes back to stay in your lane. Like, don't over police. You're not
fun?
God. Yeah, exactly.
Was that fun?
Exactly. All right. So that wasn't just the only way. We're kicking off the Sunday football strong, but we've already experienced some games. It was a little weird having a Friday game in Brazil. Like Kemp made the mention, we woke up early before the reactions show today and played some golf. And Kemp's like, yeah, it was a little weird, hearing the game and then hearing in the background the Spanish, like a soccer game.
That was wild, honestly.
AJ Brown, first down.
Yikes.
And it wasn't even Spanish. That's the thing. If you all thought it was Spanish,
Portuguese.
That
Jeez.
Portuguese, bro.
it was
Just about
Portuguese.
anything, I'd be like,
Well,
mhm,
yep,
yeah, it
sure.
is.
Yeah. So it's not even a language that anyone other than Brazilian or Portuguese people
I can't
probably
imagine.
know. So like,
I cannot imagine that the athletes are actually enjoying that like experience.
well,
Like truthfully, like you fly over for what 4 days, but like you work for those 4, and then
Right.
immediately leave. Like I get why the NFL is doing it, but like the athletes themselves, the staff, like I can't imagine they're like, yay.
a lot of them were not very happy about going.
Yeah, I
They,
couldn't
they were
imagine.
not.
Well, because again, it's like they're the Harlem Globetrotters. Like
Yeah.
we're just trotting them out there like a circus act. Like, look at what we're selling in America. Everybody get a little flavor. It's literally like the Costco bites that you like take a little taste of football and make sure to tune in next week. You know,
It's like you got to think like it was aired 7:30 our time here. What time was it there? Like what time was your actual football game on? Did they start a game at like 4 a.m. for our entertainment? You know what I'm saying? Like I would not like that if I was an athlete.
I don't think Brazil is that far
Like,
like
it was
from us.
But a couple
exaggerated.
I think they're like
You're
4 hours
still looking at
behind. They're 4 hours behind, I think. 4 or
easily.
3 hours.
You got to think, yeah, they're starting their game at midnight, which I mean, I guess isn't as bad as 4, like I said, but still, like, I can't imagine, like, yay.
Just so we could comfortably watch it in our Friday evening. But hey, that's the price you pay. And of course, I don't even think that was the bigger game of the week so far.
No, it was
I mean, that opening game is huge. The Ravens and the Chiefs won. I think it's clear. I might have a little bias, but the Browns division is clearly the toughest.
Yes.
The Ravens are kind of the tip of that spear. They lead the charge. And honestly, the Chiefs are a team that get carried. We know that. We've seen that firsthand. And that's, I think, the only reason they're such a dominant force. So you have the one that on paper and in at least during the regular season is such a dominant force, tends to just totally crumble in the postseason. But then you have this other team that I think is just solid, moderate, not fantastic, but the referees tend to look their way. They have a Taylor Swift, and the bones are there. They're so solid that they never have an off day. And it was exciting to see these two kick off the season, one coming from a Super Bowl championship and again, dominating 3 years in a row. And so now it's like, how's this going to play out? Before I comment, what did you guys make of the Ravens-Chiefs game?
It went exactly how I thought it was going to go.
And how's that?
I thought it was going to be a tough game. I think they're 2 of the top 3 teams in the AFC. I think Baltimore, like you said, on paper is better. I think the strict difference is Mahomes and Lamar. Mahomes is very good in the clutch. And part of his being good in the clutch is he doesn't really make a mistake. Lamar gets carried away. You're at Arrowhead, the Chiefs, they get the officials are definitely on their side in Arrowhead. Very much on their side. And just lack of mistakes. I figured it was going to be a dogfight. Figured it was going to be a 1-score game. Lamar, he had 3 open chances at the end there, missed all 3 of them, you know, like, but it's like Mahomes, he doesn't miss the 3 of them.
No.
He'll get it on the second, maybe the first, definitely the third. Like that's strictly the difference. You could even say like Mahomes and Josh Allen have the same issue. Lamar and Allen have the same issue against Mahomes.
That's true. That's true. And I like your point of Lamar. I think he's got to be one of my favorite players. I love watching him. I love him as a exactly
2-time MVP. Like he is as good as he is.
But what is the thing that you always,
he falters horribly in the postseason. His postseason play compared to his regular season play is completely night and day, and it's discouraging because like even last year, I think it was him and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. I wanted the Ravens to win. I'm like, please shake it up a bit. This is coming from a Browns fan. I like Lamar. Like I think he's a good dude for the NFL. I was like, go get yours. And same issue. Came down to like near the last play, didn't make it. That's it.
Well, speaking of last play, here's Patrick Mahomes's last word after the end of the game where it came down to a game of inches.
I mean, because it looked good from my angle on the sideline, but in the first view you could see the cleat. So that's a great football team, and I'm sure we'll see him again at some point in the playoffs. So now we're happy with the win now, and he's got to wear white cleats next time. That's my advice for him.
I just love that comment. Just my advice for the opponent that was deemed out of bounds because just the toe went over the line. Maybe wear white
Yeah,
cleats.
he had a wardrobe malfunction. That's why they lost.
Well, and what's so cool about it is we laugh, but Belichick, who will go down as a Hall of Fame coach, one of the things he coached Edelman through was depending on the team they were playing, he could alternate his gloves between red, white, and blue, colors of the Patriots. And so depending on the opponent's jerseys, he would wear white if they were wearing white. Even if it was orange, he'd wear the red, just so the color was close enough. It'd be hard to distinguish if he was actually holding a jersey or not. And again, those little things can give you the edge. And then we've got clowns out here that just wear neon yellow cleats.
Well, sometimes you just gotta flex the drip a little bit. Just kind of sprinkle it out there for them.
What were you about to say, Ricky?
Yeah, same with cornerbacks, man. You got to wear them gloves to match the opponent teams so you don't get them pass interference or holding on you. They got to do it. And if you play the Kansas City Chiefs, you cannot make everything has to be in line for you that day. You cannot make one mistake. You make a mistake, I don't know, it always comes back and bite the opponent in the ass. So when you play the Chiefs, you gotta be perfect. Even if they're not perfect, you just have to be perfect.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like Mahomes didn't even have like the best game for himself. Personally, I think Lamar kind of outplayed him in that game, but it's like going off what Ricky said, like you have like their bad day still probably winning 2/3 of their game.
That's what I mean. Like it sounds like I'm being dismissive or underappreciative when I say they're solid, moderate. They
do
when
get
I
the
mean
intangibles
there's
that you're
no
talking about. They do get they definitely get a ref benefit, especially in Arrowhead. Like that. I don't think many football fans can disagree with that.
I gotta ask.
And they delusionally do. They're like, no, not at all.
Exactly. And
I would be too. If it was the Brown, I'd be like, no, absolutely.
3 times in a row, baby.
Absolutely out of bounds. But no, you're not wrong in that case either.
Well, so I want to ask, going into this season, is it fair to kind of call for public awareness? It seems that Las Vegas has more of an influence than the competition on the field itself. So I'm curious, is it worth calling for people to keep an eye out on these? Is it a lost cause? Do you think we can make a change? At the end of the day, are we just bought and sold and we're watching an Avengers movie? Like this is just as fake like the Harlem Globetrotters. We have no impact. This isn't real competition. Or should we actually keep an eye out? Because it does feel like in Arrowhead, the Chiefs are going to get a little bit of an advantage. As a Browns fan, it does feel like a little bit of sometimes the scale is just kind of is weighted against us. Not always. We suck, and we do a good job of beating ourselves. But it also feels like there's sometimes where Las Vegas intervenes, even if it isn't that we would have won, it's this weighted the spread just enough to where, I guess we don't have that giant payout that would have otherwise happened.
Well, it's funny. It's like I looked at the stat line the day after the game because I was curious about the penalties. I was like, what was the difference in numbers? And really it was like 7 Baltimore, 8 Kansas City. But I looked into like when those like Kansas City ones went in their favor, and it was all like probably a 3rd down or like just kind of extend the drive one, rather it be like on a 1st down. It's like now you just have a further distance. So it was kind of interesting to see that. I was like, because it always seems like they get the best time penalties. They get the best, like, here's an extra play penalty. And it's like
They kept calling like illegal formation all game.
yeah, that was
Baltimore. It's crazy. Like it even makes sense. Like Kansas City right tackle always leave early. They didn't even get called. They didn't even get a call that game, but
every time.
Yeah, Baltimore was
like
getting
one of their last scoring drives. Like I genuinely thought he had a full step in.
Well, and again, you've got Harbaugh out here. He goes, they're clearly setting us up because I'm sitting here displaying the same formation I just witnessed against my defense. So either I am making an illegal play and you're not applying it because on both sides, because I'm seeing it. So maybe I know it's illegal, but we're allowing it to happen, so I'm doing it. Then you're calling it when my hand's in the cookie jar, or it's blurred just enough where it's close to the line. Is this an illegal formation or is it not? I mean, here's a bigger question I want to pose to the group before we start breaking down more of the deets for today's games. Do you guys believe the NFL is getting over-policed? Because, like, one last segment before we dive into the breakdown of today's games, I want to talk about the new kickoff. But, like, do you guys think that with all of what's going on, trying to nerf the game, are we overdoing it?
Here's how I'll start it. I can commend the NFL for attempting to try something new. It's not working for me, and simply because they did this so there's less touchbacks, and it's like you're still going to kick the ball into the end zone. Like, you're not removing that aspect of it. If you want to, you'd have to move the point of kick back further.
Yes.
I don't necessarily dislike the new rules. I'm not even in favor for or against. It's still like new-ish. I see the benefit. But again, it's like if we're trying to prevent touchbacks, it's like I saw like 4 kicks in last game, like immediately, like, yeah, they're not taking it out.
Right. I don't know. Ricky, what are your thoughts? Are they over policed?
So, I like they're trying, as Will said. I love that they're trying, but Will stated it. Just move the kicker back. Like, if move them to their 20 or something where the ball will actually be in play. I don't like the formation. It just looks weird. I don't know. It just it don't look like the pros. Because I'm not used to it.
It looks
but
like a high school game, man. Like,
they're trying to protect them, Well, but
like,
just move the point of kick back. Yeah. And the drop. The funny thing is they changed the rule for the drop hip tackle. I haven't seen one call this.
Haven't seen a call either. I was thinking that too. I would have thought I would have seen a few already.
Me too.
It was in the Baltimore game. I swear they called it on the defense. They said it was like it ended up being a horse collar tackle, which I really didn't think it was. I was convinced it was that. There's the first hip drop. Like, I was
interesting.
And they haven't called it yet. I wonder how like monitoring they're doing it.
You
It's like really blatant, because that could be so like hit or miss. You could be like, oh, that was a hip drop. It's like, no, like it just came in from the side low, like. But going to the kickoff thing, yeah, I mean, it's just
here. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So this is what the new kickoff looks like. So we have where is it at? I'm trying to get it. So I got to learn all the Brian, specials. There we go.
It's just an affirmation.
So you've got the two lines right here on the what is it?
Between the
opposing
35 and 30.
The opposing 40 and the 30.
They're right up on each other.
Yeah.
And then there's a drop zone. That's the weird part, is it's this zone now between the end zone and the 20. You have to drop it in there for a return. And again, like Will and everyone was kind of indicating, there's no real incentive to drop it in there.
Deep. Like,
just
why, like,
exactly.
Even that, if they kick it, like if they want the incentive, make it put the ball on the 40, like penalize the kicking team, so they can stop kicking touchbacks.
Well, they're also trying to do safety. They're not safety of the players. They're not trying they're not.
Yeah.
Trying
but
to have
can't they also want the highlights?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But in terms of like the execution of like the play itself, it's like I don't see how this is really going to change much,
right?
Because like the touchback percentage is always already really high.
I think they
These
just
dudes send the ball flying when they get.
Yeah, they condensed it too much. Where they should have just spread it out a little bit more. They need to spread them out,
and especially if it's like going off Ricky's rule, it's like Ricky's rule. There's incentive then. Like if the defense screws up, you get it at the 40. It's like if I'm kicking the ball, it's like send it through the back of the end zone every time.
Every time.
Like they're getting it at the 20. I will take that. Like why would I even risk giving him an opportunity to take the ball out?
Right. Totally. And so again, I appreciate the motivation, right? The motive is safety. And I can respect that, but there is a lost art to this game, the thing we've fallen in love with, that is just totally gone. I want to take a moment and appreciate the best to have done it. Again, I admit my bias, but the best to have done it. And it will always have such a special place in my heart, Doug's heart, folks in this room, I know, because we were there, saw it in real life. Some of the most amazing running. This one will always go down as the best, the pinnacle.
Best offensive
I
player
knew
on
that
our
was
team.
the curve. I knew that was the curve.
All the way to the 1. Whoop! Toes the line. Great hit. in a pocket of players, protected back, front, side, touchdown.
So crazy to think too, Kent State.
With ease. Yeah, Kent State, a
Yeah,
local
yeah.
guy too. Oh. I wanted to be. So look at this.
Man,
Just
that
straight
first one.
speed. Outran them by 30 yards, was right next to him. Next to him.
That first one from Pittsburgh, man, I remember the Sunday dinner I was having that day. That touchdown was scored, bro. Kickoff used to be so electrified, man. David Hester, Cribbs, man.
He's very
Such
good
a
at, like,
game
setting up his
changers.
team for himself.
And just the lengths ahead of people.
Yeah.
You don't see this at all.
No,
This
you really
isn't-
do see a lack of returns in the NFL.
Well,
these
and
days.
again, it went from a pivotal aspect of the game.
It went from that was your job, you were here to do that, to now it's like, all right, we just need someone to go in the back and stand there and catch the
Doug,
ball.
show yourself. If you're going to use my phone, use it. You're wasting my phone.
Show yourself, coward.
Coward. Well, no, but even more so, like, you could make something happen. Back to my point of, like, this being a total lost art. You could be down bad and be like, yo, but we get the ball back. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it actually once already this game, a return. And then you could literally see, I've seen multiple returns in a game. Could you imagine? And that, like, changed the whole strategy and dynamic of football. And that is a strategy and dynamic that doesn't exist. One last one. This is my plea to YouTube. YouTube, I am telling you, legally, I am changing this. This is a reaction. This is not me copying, and I am not removing the audio because this is Jim Donovan. This is a little piece of Cleveland that will be missed this year. This is sincerely the audio itself is what is the material we are dissecting and engaging with in this clip.
Tight spiral. Here's Cribbs. He's going to be able to return. Caught at 24. Zigzags right. 30, 35, 40. He's wide right. Could go. He's to the 40. He's right sideline 30 with the kicker to beat. He's to the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Josh Cribbs!
That is an energy that will be missed, you know?
A lot of thoughts and prayers to him in his recovery. Hope it
Yeah.
goes well for him. But he will be truly missed.
Truly. And he's had such an impact.
We got lucky.
I'm-
We got lucky with him and Tom Hamilton. You know,
Right.
Two, I think, best announcers in sports. Two of the
Down
biggest
goes
names. Love 'em.
Frazier.
Love 'em both.
And I'm sure it'll all grow on me and we'll get accustomed to it. But we were listening to the game last night and you were like, that's our announcer from here on out. And it's like, I don't. And again, let's get
Hey,
some
man,
energy.
hey, man, it's
maybe
week one, man.
maybe
We can't be this negative right now.
Njoku gets that one-handed catch in the end zone and we're all electrified.
Who threw that ball though?
It will probably be Mr. Personality, Jameis Winston, because Deshaun broke his wrist. And it's they X-ray it and it's totally fine. He's just like, I gotta sit. I'll
Man,
see you in the
Deshaun Watson
suite. I'm going
committed
to
the biggest
suite."
robbery. Deshaun Watson committed the biggest robbery in Cleveland history. It's a damn shame.
100%. So hold on. That all being said, while I make a strong position for why we need to at least make an effort in bringing back the return and making it an aspect of the football game. Here's also Josh Cribbs, and here's also why we probably needed to make some efforts to nerf that.
嘿哈，张国，现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋。
But that last one, he was with the Colts, so it's okay.
Yeah, but it's still Josh.
It's still our guy from Kent, Ohio.
From Kent, Ohio. It's like Flacco, Browns legend. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, you know, we're getting to a wrapping set. Man, we're already at 30 minutes. All right. There's a couple things that I guess I'm just going to have to save for next week. James O'Keefe had breaking this week a Washington Commanders vice president of franchise content. He was caught at a dinner just given all of the tea. So I guess we'll sip on that tea next week. We'll save it for next week. But we also have a really fun game Ricky, hopefully we can get you to log in with us because this one, it's going to be fun for everybody to play. We're excited to see rookie Xavier Leggett play for the Panthers today. And the game is going to be, can you guess what he's saying? I just want you to can you tell me what he's saying? Everybody across the internet loves and reveres his very thick Southern accent, and it's unique. It's unique. So we were going to have a fun game. But before we close out today's episode, me, Will, Doug, and Kemp, let's break down what we can expect for the games this afternoon. First, let's look at the 1 o'clock games. Let me pull it up here. It's gonna pull.
Kemp, how you doing over there, big dog? You just lounging?
Oh, I'm ready for some picks.
All right, so we're just looking at the 1 o'clock games. We got the Panthers and the Saints at 1 o'clock. What are we thinking?
I think New Orleans, and I think it's going to be a boring game.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Kemp, what are you thinking?
Saints, Panthers, Bryce Young's still so. Unless we'll see how his sophomore year goes. But Saints in a 24-14 blowout.
Ricky, what are your thoughts? Saints, Panthers.
I'm gonna try to remember my picks, but I'm going with the Panthers because they can't start this year like they did last year. They ended last year, so Panthers.
That's a I put money on them pick.
I think the Saints are always a solid choice. The Panthers seem to finally be a franchise getting their feet under them. They have a franchise quarterback, but the truth is, I just don't think they're going to get. They don't have the pieces to catch any momentum. It's kind of just like a ragtag crew that is duct taped together. And what you can assure from the Saints every time, even when sometimes there's holes in the roster, you still got a Kamara. Like that's a fact. But then even aside from that, you've got a solid franchise. So
I don't think Alvin Kamara is on the Saints anymore.
No,
Pretty sure he is not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on like Minnesota now.
Kamara? No, he's on the Saints.
Is he?
Well, I'm doing a football talk show with a crew full of retards. He still plays for the Saints.
Still with the Saints. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you talking about? You got me
hey,
thinking.
I haven't hardly heard of him in the last 2 years.
Nope.
Hey, we're casual fans. That's what make this the best football show right here. We're just casual fans.
That's right.
Our point.
All right, next loser pick.
Vikings and the Giants.
Oh, Vikings.
Oh yeah.
Daniel Jones is going to lose to Sam Darnold, and it's going to kind of be funny.
The sad truth is the Giants just can't seem to make it happen. They just can't seem to get their feet under them. The Patriots, do you think they're making a turn here?
No,
I don't either.
Worst team in the league.
I think the bungholes got it.
Yeah.
But I can't pick the Bengals because it's Cincinnati, so I went with the Patriots.
Hey, if they win, you're making some money though. That's all
right.
I would know. If they win, you're getting some dough.
And you can't take away from, like, we know as Browns fans, we have a long road ahead of us because there is such strong competition surrounding us. The Bungholes are a solid team this year. I am very excited to see how this game pans out. Just to see, I don't expect much out of the Falcons.
Do we know if Russell Wilson's playing? I heard he got hurt in practice the other day. I hadn't heard any definitive news if he was in or out. I would kind of love
thing I got that
start.
Yeah, last thing I got, he was started.
Yeah, yep.
He's starting today. Yep.
Wait. Steelers plan to start Justin Fields.
Still dealing with
It
the
happened
cap
Wednesday.
issue.
Happened very
Wow.
It was like very quiet in the news.
Which again, to me, is kind of why I'm kind of eager to see how this game plays out, because a lot of people are making the argument that Justin Fields isn't a second string quarterback and that he should be taking kind of the front stage. What better person to learn under than somebody as solid as Russell Wilson, to get the opportunities for him to sit out and you take the stage? There's opportunity here, but I hope I watch you all burn.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure Tomlin is good at developing quarterbacks. I think he struck gold with Ben. He inherited Ben. Ben was Ben. Like I'm not saying I don't think Fields will do well. I think Fields is a freak athlete. I think he could be very good in the NFL, but I don't know how good that organization is at developing quarterbacks.
Totally. Texans and the Colts. Apparently the Texans are supposed to be pretty solid this year.
Texans. That's my dark horse.
Texans.
Gotta go with Texans.
I would love to see CJ Stroud have a great year.
That is my fantasy quarterback. I'd love to too.
He is. Oh my money.
I would go if there's an upset. I'm saying the Colts over the Texans for this week. But I still
Really?
would be
if there's ever an upset, I think the Colts are taking the Texans. But
And you think the Colts have that in the wheelhouse?
I just think they're. An
I do.
organization that's
I think
solid.
they're going there. I think they're under. I've heard good things about Shane Stricken, the new coach.
Who's their
but-
quarterback today?
Huh?
Oh, Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah, he's probably good,
Richardson's a good
No,
quarterback.
like that won't be an easy game for them. And Indianapolis is a well-run organization.
Yeah.
Their bad teams are not.
Yeah,
that
not,
bad.
but I also think Houston's also a great team.
Yeah.
So.
right.
Houston could be this year's Detroit, in my opinion.
Really, you're right.
Yeah, I
very
really
much
think
so.
they could be this year's Detroit.
That'd be
like
cool.
last
They had an off season like none other. They
Yeah.
kept adding a bunch.
Hey,
of
they
talent.
handled us.
Yeah,
I mean, love or what you
easily.
want to say, they handled us.
Boy, did they. And last one for the morning games or the early games, Cardinals and Bills.
I think Cardinals. I think you're
What?
going to see a kink in Buffalo's armor this year. You saw it last year, and they
Mm.
only lost additions. I think it's gonna Josh
I do
might be a
too.
dark horse MVP just because he's gonna play that well for them to succeed.
I could agree with that point. What you're seeing is they have made moves that seem to be slowly unraveling the really good
Dude, I
situation
can't
they
think of a
had.
single player they got in the offseason where I'm like, oh, that's an addition. I could think of like 3 players they
That
lost.
they lost, yeah.
But like in terms of like people drafted or like signed, couldn't think of one.
That's a strong point. All right, so getting into the later games, then we do have Titans Bears. Bears seem to be
Bears,
turning a
Bears,
corner.
Caleb Williams, I'm not the biggest fans of, but I think he could be the real deal. I think he's going to have a week 1 win. Then Chicago's going to lose the next 3, but week 1 in Chicago is going to be electric for them.
That'd be cool.
Will Levis is gonna come out and smoke Caleb Williams.
Oh, you're right. You know what? Will is a good quarterback. I think.
You know, I have nothing against
I
Will.
think he's shown
I
some
think-
talent.
I think you're going to have like that rookie like first game magic.
That's
You
No,
know, a
true.
lot of
Ca-
tape on him.
Caleb fingernails
Well,
gonna get scratched, and he's
numbers.
gonna be out there crying.
Because the last any rookie quarterbacks that start, I saw something. They're all saying it's like 0, 22, and 1. It's like they've lost every single rookie who
That
has
guy who
started
has had one tie. He like
one
was like,
tie, and guess who it
"That's
was?
me.
Kyler
That's
Murray.
me." Kyler, oh my God, really?
All right. Well, the Jags and the Dolphins. This is gonna be a tight one. The Jags are really getting their feet under them.
Jury's not out though for me on Trevor Lawrence. I think he could be so good when he's hot, and when he's cold, he's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's just sort of there. And I think Miami
And he
they got a
needs
good
to
system.
show up for them to be able to do anything.
Right, no, like,
Truthfully, they
they-
don't have
yeah.
the pieces for him to be lackluster.
Miami, they got a lot of weapons.
They
and,
were hot last year.
What's the coach's name? McDonald.
McDonald or no, McDaniel.
McDaniel. I think he's very creative. I think he's
very
really
creative.
Good. He's an offensive mind.
He's
very
the
much.
perfect
Yeah.
personality to motivate that type
Dude,
of team.
Did you see
Yeah.
that photo of him like first year in Miami and he's like clean cut with like a polo or something on? And then it's like his first press conference this year. He has like a shaggy beard or whatever. And they're just like, imagine what, like what Coke in Miami does to you. And it's just like, yeah, 2 years in, he's a different man.
2 years running the streets of Miami. All right, Broncos, Seahawks. I would imagine the Seahawks could roll the Broncos.
I think Broncos.
Really?
Broncos.
Broncos.
All
had
right,
a
What are the
you got a
changes
rookie-
on the
you got
Broncos
another
that tell
rookie
you that?
quarterback
Bo Nix,
starting. You got
Sean
Bo
Payton has a
Nix.
quarterback he likes. They had a decent year last year with Russell. Much to what everybody's saying, Russell actually had a pretty quietly good year last year. And Seattle is Geno. Seattle. Like they're fine. Like don't get me wrong. Like they're a solid team. I have nothing against them. But I think Denver. Yeah, I think
What are your
Denver's gonna pull it off.
Seattle. Denver's got Bo Nix starting.
That's what I'm saying.
The defense, I get, there's no other. They signed Pat Surtain, so they have one of the best corners in the league. Who else?
Seattle's good. Pete runs a
Defense wise
good
for the Broncos,
organization there.
they don't.
Not a lot
They
of
got Baron Browning, I think, and they got, but there's no all stars on Denver's defense, and I think Seattle is a better will be a. They've done it before.
That's fair.
True.
I'm really high on the rookies today. I'm rooting for all rookie wins today.
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's all I'm going with.
All right. Raiders, Chargers.
The Chargers.
Raider.
Better quarterback,
Ugh.
better coach, in my opinion.
I
New
want
coach.
Vegas.
Ugh.
I want to
want
see the
Vegas.
Raiders get out of their slump, but
Yeah.
truthfully,
Who's
I
their
don't
quarterback?
exactly.
Is it
Who do
Aiden
they
O'Connell?
have?
I feel-
to-
I
No,
feel like
Gardner.
Jim is just
Gardner
Jim is
got
gonna
the-
motivate
Gardner's
his
getting-
team.
got the
You got the
selection.
Walmart version Baker Mayfield leading your team right now.
Minshew.
against Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. That's a team I am curious for out of that.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is going to have his team always show up. So
I do think Chargers.
fuck.
Well,
Damn.
then,
You know,
speaking of Walmart bakers, we got the Washington football team and the Buccaneers.
I'm going Bucks.
Why?
got it, guys.
Why?
They're playing a rookie quarterback, and I don't think rookies do very well in their opener. So
You just said he was going rookie quarterback today.
Wow.
not at all. Not at all.
Baker boy.
I think I do have Tampa. I think that's going to be an ugly close game, though.
I agree.
I have that like a 17-14 game, something like that.
Bucks. You gotta give it to Bucks. But Jaden Daniels looks good. You look good. But again, preseason
I think
doesn't matter.
Jaden could be a sleeper for rookie of the year, even over Caleb. Him getting the start right away.
Fair.
I think he's a very
He's very
talented.
talented.
Kid. Yeah.
Very talented.
I think he could have like an RG3 rookie year.
Even though I think Eckler was a big addition for Washington as well. So
Oh, is that where he ended up?
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, and again, like Will said, I think you have two very moderately even teams.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have a dogfight. This is going to be a good game to catch, but it's, of course, going to be the one that you miss. You're going to have to only catch the highlights because competing at the same time is the bowl for America's team. You got the Cowboys, who claim to be America's team, and the Cleveland Browns, who are certainly, everybody knows, truly America's team. Who in the room? What do you guys got? What do you think?
Before we put our picks in,
Got
let's just
them.
get one in here. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. I have the
Come
Browns
on,
winning
man. We got
20.
hey, look, we got to start every show like that on Sundays. All right. That was great, guys.
From here on out. From here on out. No, I'm very excited to see what we can do with kind of some of the air out of our tires.
I think it's a 28-24 game, and I think you're going to see a sneaky good game out of Jerome Ford.
I think it's going to
I
come
I
down.
agree.
I think he's gonna be a
Jerome
big
Ford
player
is
today.
a guy worth putting all
think-
eggs in your basket.
I think Deshaun's going to look pretty mid.
Yes.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Mid. I think Jerome's going to have a light up day. I think our defense is going to play really well today. I
Yes.
think our defense is going to come out really fast.
All right.
Agreed,
For the
agreed.
fantasy folks at home, they're going to want us to pick this scab a little bit. Kemp, boys, what do you have? What do you guys make of Dak this year? Like, I just feel like fantasy owners always want to kind of, it's an easy pick once all the cream of the crop is taken. Is it worth even considering?
No. Dak's going to have just about the same year he's had the last 3 or 4.
Yep.
On paper, solid year. And you know what? Dak's solid.
For
That's about
fantasy?
it. Not even just
Trash.
fantasy. Like
I'm saying, like, no, to your point. On paper, solid year.
Oh, for
fantasy, it'll be dog dick.
For
He
fantasy,
just got
I
paid
won't
today,
hate
too.
getting Dak in a PPR league. He throws a lot, gets a lot of yards. CeeDee Lamb. Them re-signing CeeDee Lamb was the biggest
huge.
thing for him, though.
Yes.
If they didn't get him back. I really think this could be a weird year for Dallas.
Well,
Was
it's because, go ahead, Ricky.
It was the last night or this morning. Dak just got his bag. So Jared paid him.
Dak just
Yeah,
got paid.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think this is a contract year for Dak. I think it's either this year or next. So
He's got to step up.
I don't know how many more games you're going to see Dak Prescott in a Dallas Cowboys jersey, personally.
Really?
I don't think they're trading him or anything. I just don't think they're going to just do the Tony Romo thing. They're just not going to re-sign him. They're going to go pick
No,
up the
they
next-
just signed. They just re-signed him.
No, they
They
just
just signed an
Dak.
extension.
They just signed
For how much
extension,
longer?
like 278, 4 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It just this honestly
Never mind.
this
Excuse my
just
casual
happened within the
fanness.
last 30
Dak is here to
minutes.
stay for a bit longer, and I think that contract.
240 million
That
now.
contract's insane for Dak Prescott.
240.
No.
204
And you know
4
what?
years.
Hey, you know what? For Dak, hey, way to get that bag. Love that for him. For Jerry Jones, they moved
You know
on
what?
from Tony Romo quicker.
I think they just jinxed it though, because he just got paid and then he's gonna go out and lose to the Browns. So
They call that Deshaun Watson syndrome.
Dallas-
Deshaun sneezes on him on the field
You're-
today,
you're-
and
You're going to see
We'll
Dallas
take
win games, barely make the playoffs, and maybe probably lose the first game.
Yeah.
Dak doesn't have a good record in the playoffs,
no.
and Jerry Jones is going to go out there and justify all that money he just spent on him, and it's the same result you've had ever since. His best year was Zeke's rookie year.
Yeah.
That was 6-7 years ago now.
Doug, what were you going to say?
Oh, I didn't have anything to
Oh,
say.
well, I was saying no, Jerry has been very adamant about him controlling the Cowboys. He thinks no one else can control the
Oh,
Cowboys.
Jerry
Very-
will literally die.
Would die
mid-deal.
as a thing. Yeah. So until then, whatever he's whatever says goes for him. But I don't think they're trending in the right way.
I think they're trending in the exact same way they've been, and
Yeah.
it's Dallas's Dallas. Like they'll find a way into
They'll
the
win
playoffs,
games,
and then
but
they'll
the-
lose pretty big.
The last
They'll get
time,
so much airtime all year, and it'll piss every
last
NFL.
time
They
only
always
won
get
with
airtime,
95.
man. I would kill for a Thanksgiving game. I would love for the Browns to play on Thanksgiving.
So
Exactly.
You
Yes.
know, it is what it is. But I like Dak. Dak seems like a good dude. He seems like a good face in the NFL. He's been a consummate professional since
Yes.
day one in Dallas. I just don't like. He's like Kirk Cousins. Like he's good. He's not going to win it, but he's good.
Right.
He'll make the postseason with Dak.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's get to our evening game then. Tonight we're wrapping up at 8:20. Rams and we got the Lions. Do we think the Lions are going to be kind of riding that same wave they were last year?
Dude, they're attacking kneecaps all year.
Oh yeah.
Dan Campbell is the only best defensive coach I could think of in recent years where I can truly see change the culture of a franchise. I think Detroit is a top 3 NFC team.
Wow.
With Goff, who
Woo.
I like Goff. I
And
think Goff's
Amon
gonna have a
Ra.
good
So how do
year.
you think they're going to hold up again? Do you think they're beating the Rams
I
today?
do think they're beating the Rams.
Rams
I
are
think
still
that'll
a solid team
I
too.
think that'll be a dogfight though. That'll be like a 31-28 game. I don't see it being an easy win. I think
So
and
you don't think the defense is going to show up much? That's a high scoring game.
I think you have 2 great quarterbacks with a lot of great weapons.
Puka,
Puka, Cooper,
Kyron Williams. I mean, the Rams.
Stafford's still Stafford.
Montgomery
I don't
and-
think he's really lost.
He's
much
got
in the tank
Amon
there.
Ra and Laporta.
McVay is an awesome coach. I see this being a 31-28 game, and LA still wins 12 games.
Definitely.
Like I could see that being the case, and I could see Detroit winning 13 or 14.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. And then finally, Monday Night Football is the Jets and the 49ers. Are the Jets ever going to get over this hump, or are they just doomed?
I think I have them winning Monday. I think they're
That'd
going to
be
have
huge.
you're going to have that
Against
Rodgers
the
match.
49ers.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a statement game, but then they're going to finish pretty okay.
Is Aaron gonna actually play a full game?
Yes,
Yeah, what do we expect from Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, what's the over/under on plays played?
You know,
Yeah,
I still think
plays.
I think it's so weird for him to actually. It'll be weird seeing him because he still hasn't played.
I think he's going to look pretty good. Funny enough,
I
I'm
hope
not
so.
the
I
biggest
know, I
Aaron
hope
guy,
so
but,
too,
like,
but-
I think he's going to look pretty good. I think that's another dogfight game. I think the NFL did a great job with their primetime slates for week 1. You had a great game Thursday. You had a great game Friday. I think you're going to have 3 or 4 really great later games today. And I think Monday nights is going to be a good game too. I don't think you're going to see a lot of duds across the board week 1.
And both primetime games have great storylines.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, so
There's like a lot of hype behind it. They were
Stafford
split
going back
last
to
week.
Detroit is good, and Aaron playing his childhood team.
Mhm.
But Aaron's gonna get smoked.
Is Aaron coming out the tunnel with an American flag?
Could you imagine if this time he tripped?
Bad juju, don't do it. Bad juju, don't do it, bro. He needs to come out with some shamans just rocking sage in front of him, just to bless him so he doesn't get
Anybody
hurt.
have an update? Is he still being chased by like the Hat Man or whatever? You know, like he did.
That's
He
the
did.
49ers defense this Monday.
he like did ayahuasca in the jungle. And now he's like, I have to take a break away from training camp this summer because the Hat Man keeps chasing me. And it's like, dude, you are off your rocker.
I think we gambled wrong on this one, guys. I think we're gonna have to go to the next guy.
Next guy's just picking his nose.
Next guy is just some kid at like Appalachian State right now.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
All right. Well, I hope that gives you some insight on what you can expect coming into the season or, the games this weekend. We're very excited for today's games. The Browns, I think are going to show up, but who cares? It's a beautiful day, a little chilly, a little brisk, but I think we're going to have a full day of great games. Like Will said, the NFL did a good job of pairing up some intense matchups this weekend. Hopefully you come up victorious against your pals and your friends in your fantasy league. We're going to be doing this each week with the breakdowns of what you can expect and just chopping it up and talking some football. Because I got to be honest with you, when you are getting ready for your Sunday, festivities, and you've got ESPN or Channel 5 or whatever, the basic cable just rolling in the background, their football chopping up just BS and talk is total trash. And so to me, there's no better way. Like, even Ricky said, we may not be experts here, but we're having fun and we're showing you some solid content. So be sure to join us live every Sunday at noon Eastern time. We got our good friend Ricky joining us from Just Another Day TV. Ricky, do you want to tell the folks where they can find you?
Hey, Just Another Day TV, man. My picks are on the page, every platform. You feel me? Let's go.
Let's go. And Ricky, Doug, and the crew, we go live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. We go live every Sunday. And then Doug and I just wrapped up a Sunday show just before this at 11 a.m. It's our Rethink Actions, where you get to kick back and have a cup of coffee and have some laughs with us. Today, we went down the rabbit hole of the Put a Girl On saga. I'm sure you have never even heard of this. And if it sparks your curiosity, click on over. It's on the channel. It went live this morning, fresh and new. And we've got content that are coming your way all day, every day. And if you're looking for one central place that you could find it, you can find it all at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. So be sure to head on over there. But we'll go live next week, week 2, breaking it down for you. Go Browns. See you then. Peace.